Jonathan Hoffman, thank you very much for giving your insight on that. We now move on. Washington, D.C. is sharply reacting to President Trump's unprecedented move to take temporary control of the city's police department and deploy 800 National Guard troops. Here's what some of the Washington locals had to say.
It's a joke. It's unnecessary. Really unnecessary. I mean, you know, when it comes to the city, you know, you have city crime, and as you looked at all the statistics, crime is really down. So it's really unnecessary. It's a kind of a horse and pony show.
Personally, we have clearly a family, and that's been one of the factors of us potentially wanting to move out of the city eventually, is just the nature of the city and the crime rate. I know that it has gone down, but it's still very much a active fear in our life is navigating this area with our kids. So I'm hopeful that it will make a difference, but
I would say it's a little bit of shock, just because if there's an issue with the law enforcement, maybe they should be, you know, trained differently or something like that. I don't think necessarily having other people take over their jobs is the answer. I guess it would just depend on their approach, really. I don't feel like DC is necessarily just naturally violent. I feel like most people have a lot of mental health issues that need to be addressed, more so than retaliating with enforcement or authority. I think what they need more so is someone who understands that mental health is an issue within our community.
As per the presidential office, the 30-day federal takeover allowed under the Home Rule Act is needed to tackle crime, but city data shows violent crime has dropped 35% in 2024 and another 26% so far this year, hitting historic lows. Democrats call the move political theatre, while Mayor Muriel Bowser calls it unsettling, but says she'll use the extra personnel to further reduce crime. The troops, unarmed but with firearms close at hand, are joined by 500 federal agents in the crackdown. We are now joined by Asuma Katalka, anchor and correspondent, and she's going to give us a bit more insight into this unprecedented move by Donald Trump on the US Capitol. Asuma, what more can you tell us about this?
Yes, Thomas, as we know, and you've talked about it, that in Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States, President Donald Trump has now issued for the National Guard to be deployed. About 800 of them have already been deployed to Washington, D.C. And Washington, D.C. has an image of very high crime rate, as in 1990s inside of U.S. Washington, D.C. had the highest criminal record every year in 1990s almost, but now in 2025 it's not the top anymore. And although it is still considerably high if you compare to other big cities in US with around the same population, it's not the highest anymore. But a lot of people might still have this image of Washington, D.C. to be criminal capital and also the capital of the United States. And this after President Trump declared this National Guard to be deployed in D.C. Just after an hour, the 100th homicide took place in open street, just a mile away from White House. So some locals, as we just aired it, some locals support this, but some locals fear that this is not going to solve the fundamental problem that lies, including mental health issues, which is part of why a lot of criminals do take action in DC. So this might work, as people might feel safe to see military or guard in the city, but this might not be the solution for fundamental problem there. We will see how it works.
Yes, Asuma, thank you very much for joining us and giving us some context there. We now move on to a related development where the Trump administration is moving